Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nicky C, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, bringing another amazing guest to this Bomb Global family that we have here. We're on the verge of hitting 200 episodes interviewed, and I'm super excited to host a week-long event where we'll be bringing back our last 50 guests and just re-highlighting them, reintroducing them to the world. So super excited that you are here joining us today. We have a very special guest, but before we get into that, let's just send a huge shout out to our lead sponsor, which is Carolyn Bob Green from Training You to Succeed. Thank you so much for your continued support. Also with Julia Noah from Breathe Capital Planning, Top Fox, who sponsored our Taking Off the Shades edition. We are hosting a virtual launch tomorrow, this Saturday. So once you see this, definitely register for that. And we are celebrating 3 years of Ladies of Leadership next week in New York. But thank you so much again, Top Fox, to our community, Ladies of Leadership. And let's get right into the show. We have Amira, who is a business lawyer with over 15 years of experience and the founder of A Self Guru, where she helps entrepreneurs legally protect their businesses through her done-for-you legal templates and services such as LLC formations, contract drafting, and reviews. Amira has helped thousands of small business owners stay compliant. Give me 1 second. Stay compliant and protected. She's the author of 23 Legal Mistakes to Avoid as an Entrepreneur and has been featured in 200 plus media outlets. So add 201 right here, including Ticker News, News 6, Orlando, Yahoo Finance, Thrive Global, and more. Amira's mission is to make legal protection simple and stress-free for entrepreneurs. How amazing is that? Without further ado, let's get her right on here. Hello, Amira. How are you this morning?
I am so excited to be here with you, Nikki. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am well. I'm excited to be here with you as well. And as an entrepreneur and has been an entrepreneur for quite some time, I believe that, this connection was right at the perfect time. So I am excited to hear about your journey and to see how we can help business owners really get their startup started up right the first time with everything that they need legally. But first, I want to get to know Amira. We want to know who Amira is. What was your journey growing up, and how did you enter into this world of law, and specifically, law for business owners? So tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Nikki, I actually had no idea that I was going to become a lawyer. I grew up watching my dad. He was a hardworking small business owner. But one day I came back from college and I see him being sued and holding a complaint, a lawsuit paperwork in his hand. And he was sued for $90,000. I still remember this day like it was just yesterday, because that some things I always say stay with you. And for me, that was the turning point of my life. He got sued because he didn't use a contract with the person that he had hired in his business. And that moment changed our entire life. I always say this: when unfortunately you or anyone in the family gets sued, your whole family suffers. It's not just you. So in my case, helping my dad navigate through that lawsuit and being that liaison between him and his lawyers, I was the one handling that everything for my dad for like an entire year. Because as you know, lawsuits are long and they're very expensive. And so throughout that whole experience, it really pushed me wanting to become a business lawyer, because again, watching my own dad's business go down and then starting from scratch, it just like really shaped how I lead and how I want to, kind of leader, or what kind of person that I want to become. So I decided to go into law so that I could help other entrepreneurs, not make those kinds of mistakes that my dad did. And after working as a lawyer for over a decade, and now it's over 15 years, I founded A Self Guru, which is my legal education company online, with the simple intention of empowering entrepreneurs with the tools and the knowledge and confidence that they need to protect what they've built. Because again, my experience comes from a very personal, deeply rooted struggle that we saw as a family. And for us, not like my dad's situation, not knowing how to legally protect his business really cost us a lot, right? So money, financial stress, emotional dilemma, devastation. So I come from that place of service and empathy. And so I always say that you lead with example, right? And so for me, it was very important to build a business which I believe in. And that's why now it's been over, I would say, 8-9 years in this online space. And I've had the honor of working with so many different kinds of entrepreneurs, from coaches to bloggers to e-commerce business owners to, anyone with the online presence. And it just feels great to support them in their journey, to help them feel legally secure in their dreams.
Wow. Sometimes it takes something to happen to us directly in order for us to take action, or someone to kind of really say, hey, how can I step in and not just help fix this, but just learn about it and understand it, and seeing what I can do to impact others through their journey. So that mindset, that leadership mindset, right, of unfortunately having your life kind of flipped upside down. Like, what do we do? $90,000 is not just, chump change at all. And how one simple piece of paper could have been the whole difference. So kind of tell us a little bit about what are some of the common things that you see for startups that they're missing, like right off the gate.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the biggest things, Nikki, that I see is, of course, not using proper legal documents or contracts in their business. And let me just take it a little bit further. For example, if you have an online presence, there are a lot of legalities that you need to be aware of before you get all excited and start selling your services or maybe your products. So number one thing that you absolutely need is what's called a privacy policy, because it's legally required. A lot of people that I work with or who come to me to get my legal templates or to work with me one-on-one, you'd be surprised to know that they don't even know that that's the very bare basic that they need. And they've had their website for over a year or a little longer, and then they don't even have any of those documents posted, even though that's the law. The law requires you, even if you're not selling anything and you just have a simple opt-in on your form, like an opt-in form where you're collecting emails, you're still required to post what's called a privacy policy, because under the law, you got to tell people how you collect their information and how you're going to use it. So that's one thing that you need. I always see when people are working with other people, like another example, you're a coach or something, right? You're performing all kinds of like coaching services for your client, and you don't even have a coaching agreement. All you've got is an email exchange. Again, I've seen a lot of coaches being burned by that kind of setup. So I definitely don't recommend that. In addition to that, I also see people not separating their business from themselves and assuming all kinds of personal liability. So what happens is, if God forbid, and this is actually a true story, what happens if somebody sues you for copyright violation or trademark infringement? Any of those are very, very serious legal issues that result in hundreds and thousands of dollars of lawsuit. And if you don't even have your business separated with, let's say, an LLC or any other kind of legal entity, then you and your business are operating as one. And that means your personal assets, like your home, your car, your bank account, your savings, all of that is now at risk. Everything can be used to pay that legal judgment. So that's another mistake that I see even seasoned entrepreneurs making. They won't take the time. I do LLCs a lot and I work with entrepreneurs a lot, and you'll be surprised again. Somebody will come to me 3 years into the business and be like, okay, now I think I need an LLC. So again, better late than never. But still, we want to be very proactive when it comes to protecting our hard work, because being an entrepreneur myself, not just a lawyer, I built my business from zero to this point. So I know the amount of blood, sweat, and tears. And then you can agree with me on that too, because you've done that in your journey as well. So this is a lot of work, a lot of hours, sleepless nights, stress that we've put into our business. And I feel like the last thing you want to do is to take the risk and not protecting it. So those are some of the things that definitely I see people overlooking.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So in saying all that, right? If they're missing these two, what are some of the penalties that you've seen some of your clients may have been through before they get to you? Like, what situations are they in, and how bad can it get?
Yeah, so it can get ugly pretty fast, especially if you don't have a proper privacy policy posted on your site. You can get audited, you can get sued, and that would turn into hundreds and thousands of dollars in penalties. I know so many people that have gotten audited, they've gotten sued, and they've got like, I'm talking like maybe in some situations, like anywhere from range, right? Like anywhere from 10,000 to even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the violation and how long they've been operating. Then I've also seen coaches, let's say there was actually a coach that, gave, she was basically giving advice on health and coaching and wellness services. And that was like, I think her arrangement was like $15,000. And she was threatened to be sued, and she didn't have any contract, no disclaimers, nothing in place to basically protect her. And then in the end, just to avoid that lawsuit, she had to refund that whole $15,000. So again, the amount I don't think is not the issue here. The point is that it can easily transform into this big liability, and any kind of legal issue that you face is going to come with a cost, right? It's not going to just go away on its own. I'll give you another example of a copyright violation, simple one. Somebody that basically innocently took a picture of someone else's picture and posted it on her website. And that resulted into another copyright violation. And then they negotiated and ended up settling for just $7,500, but that's still a big amount of money. Then when I was working as a litigation attorney, we also had a big copyright violation that was $500,000 settlement. So again, the amount varies depending on the violation and how much litigation do you want to have. Because I always say this, that in law, you can just keep fighting as lawyers, right? Like we are paying, we're charging you, we're billing you, we just keep fighting and fighting. And then guess what? You, unfortunately, as the defendant on the other side, is going to have to, bear that cost, or the plaintiff. So it's never a good idea to let it get to that point where it turns into a nightmare type of situation.
Yeah. So let's break that down. So we're talking about 7,500, 50,000, $500,000. These are some high prices. Now, to get these documents and place them in order, what is the savings on that? Like, just throw out some, numbers on, maybe how much a privacy policy would cost, and why it's so important to have. If it can save you, the back end heartache, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually an excellent question, because I like to also show you sometimes, like people come to me and they say, "Oh, do I really need this template from you or something?" And I'm like, "Well, let's look at what's at risk and let's look at the cost of this, and you would be the judge." So it's very interesting that you asked this question, and you're literally only paying in hundreds of dollars. You are not nowhere, like none of my bundles, they're not even thousands of dollars. There's less than like my VIP legal bundle, for example, gives you everything that you need to have your website compliant, the privacy policy, disclaimers, terms and conditions, AI disclaimer, coaching agreement, all these documents that we've kind of briefly talked about. You get all of that, and you get free lifetime updates, because in the last few years, including this year, every time the laws change, we have to update these policies. And if you, for example, get it from somebody like me, I do all those updates for you for free. So it just becomes like a no-brainer deal, especially in my mind, and I know in my customers' minds too. But when you look at that cost that you're just spending like hundreds of dollars, that's it, not even thousands, and then it's going to cost you thousands of dollars to hire a lawyer like me. You're saving right there a lot of significant amount of money. And then you're also saving yourself from thousands of dollars of lawsuits, right? And audits or fines or any of that. So to me, it's a no-brainer cost of doing business, which is tax deductible. It's just like getting that software, just like having a tool that you need in your business to make money. I look at it this way, that this is another make money tool, because if it saves me from a legal headache down the road, then it's totally worth the cost, right?
Absolutely, 100,000%, which I also just kind of wanted to say, what are other things at risk besides financial, right? Because it's not just about the money. The money is significant and we want to keep as much as we make, right? As much as we can make, we want to keep it. But what about relationships, partnerships that kind of also, like, because you said earlier that your dad's experience didn't only affect him, it affected the family as a whole. And obviously, if he had employees and things like that, like how does all that work? So I just really want to know, what are some of the relationships that can be burned without just that piece of paper?
Exactly. Like number one thing is your family, your kids, your significant other, like they all get affected. I'm the prime example of that. I remember that whole year, it was so devastating. I never pray anyone to go through that, what we did, because it's like you're worried about the financial aspect. You're worried about like what the outcome will be. You're worried about if there will even be a settlement, or how long will this whole thing take, right? Because again, going back to the basics, lawsuits just take forever to resolve. And so that's like in itself is a huge amount of stress that you're taking. And like I said, it just affects everybody around you, your loved ones. And then, we talked about the whole financial aspect of it. And then it just kind of like demotivates you. I know that it took my dad a long time to get back the confidence, right? To be able to restart, rebuild. And because he's a resilient person, but not everybody is going to bounce back, right? Like you might just give up, and it just has so many different other kinds of consequences depending on how well you take hardships and obstacles. And so, there's just so much to lose. And then your hard work, like all that work also, I know so many people that have been out of business because of a lawsuit, and they never ever were able to get back because they don't have the funds anymore, and they don't even have the mental strength anymore. So I feel like it just really tears down your life in a very emotionally heavy way. I'll give you my own recent personal example too. And I think I probably shared with you, like I was about to sue Meta because of them wrongfully, disabling my accounts and stuff. And just that whole process of filing the paperwork, I was so close, and I was going back and forth with their attorneys. And this is, again, my own personal experience recently, but it was stressful. It was stressful, even though I've done so many lawsuits, like over the years. I was a litigation attorney, being in court. It's my thing, but it's never fun. It's never fun to litigate, even for me. So that tells you that somebody who's actually been doing it for 15 years still doesn't want to do it when in her own personal life. So I can only imagine if you don't even have an experience with the law, you don't even know what the outcome will be, how certain you are, you have no confidence. It's very difficult. It's a very disheartening process,
Wow, powerful. And that's why we're here today, right? So that we can avoid these situations and be proactive about our business and making sure that we're putting things out there and they're protected, and and we're thriving, right? Do you also help with those that maybe are on the other side? They got all of their stuff, but they're experienced something with someone else that may not have a privacy policy. So do you just help with getting them their documents, or do you also help with services that protect them as well if they're going against someone?
Yeah. So when it comes to the litigation part of it, I can always suggest, and there's a consultation that I offer, but I am not actively. Do you mean like me actively fighting for you, like in court? Is
Mhm.
that the question? Is
Mhm.
so at this point, no, that's not the service that I'm offering, because again, the ASOF Group business is more like a legal education supportive community type of business. It's not a law firm.
Mhm.
As far as taking one-on-one cases, I am pretty selective because of my time commitments. I'm already pretty busy with my work and my business. So there's only like just very little time left for actual litigation and all that kind of work. But I do take cases time to time, depending on what's going on. But when the business honestly became so busy that I actually had to quit my lawyer job and go full time into entrepreneurship, because even in my own business, there is me doing legal audits for entrepreneurs. I'm helping with LLC formations. I'm doing contract drafting, contract reviews. I've got the legal template. So there's so much already. And then it just gives me little to no time to actually take on cases, because then I would be doing a disservice if I'm not giving my 110%. Because I'm definitely one of those people that really go deep into each case, and I want to make sure that I do a great, fantastic job. I'm perfectionist a little bit in that. So that's why I'm very selective in as how much I can take on if I have the time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because you're going to be asked this question, right? You're an attorney. They're going to ask. So I want to make sure that we clear all those out. There was a question I had um, on that note. Um, oh my God, it just totally slipped my head. But we are going to take a quick break. We're going to take a look at last year's 2-year anniversary, and we'll be back with Amira and some more tips on getting your business right the first time. We'll be right back.
I am here at Mummers Museum in Philadelphia celebrating Bomb Global's 2nd anniversary celebration. The women who showed up today are leading in their respective industries, and they're ready to not only get inspired, but empower and inspire you.
So from all of the speakers, I have gotten something out of it, not to be stuck and to move forward.
And this just encouraged me to start up again, to take that 15 minutes a day and to make sure that I restart that podcast, that I start writing those chapters for that book, that I get out there and I do what is inside of me, because there's somebody else waiting for me.
I have been a member of Leaders of Leadership for about a year now, and it's been my pleasure to be attending here in the 2-year anniversary with Ball Global, having this amazing group of women and community all together, empowering, inspiring, uplifting. It's been such an amazing experience being here with all this powerhouse. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so blessed that I was part of this group. Together, we empower each other. Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with Amira at a self-help guru. And now I remembered my question. We are going to be in New York for our 3-year anniversary. The links will be in the comments. Definitely connect with us. Celebrate just women empowerment in New York City. And I'm super excited. Amira, my question was, how did you come up with a self-guru as your business name? I always love logos and business names, and I'd love to find the origin of how that came about. So please share.
Yeah, absolutely. So I initially thought I was going to talk about like self-help, empowerment. And, I've had so many adversities in my life, and I've always maintained like a positive mindset. So in a way, I've been my own self-guru, right? So that was like the deeper meaning behind coming up with this name. But I also knew that if I added on, no matter what kind of work I added, whether it was legal templates because of my formal education, or tomorrow I transitioned into more motivational stuff, this name would work in any setting. So it's not limited to a very particular niche or anything. So that was another good selling point in my head, that if I picked a name that could kind of work in all these, because I'm very multifaceted. Before I was a lawyer, I was a teacher, I was into modeling. So I've done all these, my mind just works in very diverse different ways. And I didn't want to limit myself to just legal. Kind of wanted to keep the opportunities open. And for example, on my site, you'll see I also publish about affirmations, so I'm very in tune with my spiritual side as well. And that's kind of how I combined all of those things that make me into the name.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's so genius. Like, a self guru is just a self guru. Like, it can fit in any formation, which is absolutely amazing. And I visited your website and I love what I see. There's just so much information, and what you've put together is truly amazing. And people definitely need to connect. And as they're starting businesses, they really need to know what documents are needed, right? So if someone can start, and I know you have different levels, what are the main documents that are needed at startup, at decision making? Kind of share those.
Yeah, so there are 4 documents that no matter what kind of business that you have, that you will need when you're starting. First one, we talked about briefly, the privacy policy. You need to post that in the footer section of your website, so it's always visible. The second document that you need is called a disclaimer. The whole point of this document is to limit your legal liability for the content that you publish on your site, whether it's through videos, whether it's through blog posts like I do. I do both. But again, you want to limit your legal liability so that people don't take that information as advice and then come after you for a lawsuit, right? Even if you're publishing a book, always put that disclaimer in there, because you have no idea how that content can be used against you. The third thing that you should have is what's called terms and conditions, because they protect your intellectual property. So everything that we publish, whether it's a video, whether it's a written content like blog posts, if it's a course or anything that you're putting out there, it's your intellectual property. So by copyright, under the copyright law, as long as it's your original content, you didn't use AI or anything, it's protected. So therefore, in order to ensure that protection, you need to have terms and conditions, which also make it very clear to someone like me, if I'm visiting your site or if I'm buying from you, you need to put that notice out there so that I don't steal your content, because you'll be surprised, a lot of people end up stealing stuff, right? So in order to even take legal action against them for infringement or anything, you need to first do the basic, which is have your terms and conditions, make it clear that that's your intellectual property. And they also advise people how and where legal disputes will be resolved. So if you're in Pennsylvania, obviously you would want Pennsylvania laws to govern. I'm in Florida, I would want Florida laws to govern, right? So depending on where you're residing in or outside of the US, you would want to include those essential terms in those terms and conditions. The fourth one, Nikki, that people don't know much about, but this is a very important one. And again, I know a blogger that actually got sued, and then she ended up having to settle for like over $100,000 just to get that lawsuit go away, is website accessibility. This is another big issue under the Americans with Disabilities Act. We are now required to make our website accessible to people with disabilities. And honestly, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because why should we discriminate against people with disabilities? So if somebody who's blind, somebody who's deaf, they should be able to navigate your website and they should have equal access to your site. So therefore, under the law, you have to follow certain guidelines to make your site accessible. You have to post a accessibility statement. You have to do all of that. And again, I explain all of this into my ADA, compliance, website compliance legal bundle that I sell. I give you all of the things that you need to do and to post to ensure compliance. Because if you don't, then you take that risk of getting into legal trouble, like the example I gave you where someone actually got sued. And there's actually a big firm in California that literally scans websites and they go after people websites who are not compliant, and then they send them those notices to sue. So it's a very serious legal issue lately that has emerged in the last few years. It wasn't there like when I first started, but in the last 3 to 4 years, it's become like this big thing. So people are not fully aware of it. That's another thing that I would take care of at the startup level, because it's so much easier to take care of that. So those 4 honestly are the basics that no matter what kind of business you have, whether you're a coach, whether you are a blogger, whether you're a freelancer just selling services, doesn't matter. You should have all 4 on your site to get that process taken care of. And then of course, LLC and all those other things come into play too. But as far as the documents, I would make sure to have all these at least handy or done at the beginning level.
Awesome. And you also have a guide. Can you tell us about it? I'm going to put the link, scroll it on the bottom. Definitely jot this down, check it out, and get it, right? So share a little bit about what it's called and what is the purpose.
Yeah, so this is the essential legal guide that every entrepreneur needs to protect their business. So I walk you through the 3 most costly legal mistakes that you want to avoid in your business. I also give you solutions. And then I also have legal templates and bundles that I recommend depending on where you are in your business journey. So that's something that I would definitely grab to make sure that you're doing things correctly. Think of it like a checklist, right? Like when we start a business, we have our to-do checklist, right? This is just one of those things that you should also have in place. And it's absolutely free. So I highly encourage you to download that.
Yes, love that, love that. And then before we get into some other things, I do have a question of what is the feeling when you help your clients out, get in compliance, and they have that peace of mind? How does that help you continue to do what you do?
I love your questions, by the way. Very thoughtful. It gives me purpose and meaning. I feel like I'm doing something valuable with my time and my education. It just gives me this sense of fulfillment, and it's such a rewarding experience to be able to get those. And I'm so proud to say this, not to brag, but only to be, just because I'm so proud of the fact, the impact that I'm making. I get like so many love notes, and we've got like 300 plus 5-star reviews on my Facebook page. I've got tons, and I'm like one of those people that actually has like a overflow of like love that I've received from my customers and clients, and YouTube videos. You'll see testimonials and stuff. There's so many that I don't even have room to post on my site. So it's a good problem to have. But honestly speaking, it just brings so much inner joy. And like I said, that's my motivation, Nikki. That's what keeps me going. Like just to see the transformation, to have someone come to me and say, I was lost. I was so confused. I was clueless. I had no idea, but I know I needed something, but I just didn't know what in terms of the legal stuff, to go in minutes, because with my templates, it's a minutes transformation. It's not going to take you weeks. And in minutes, they get the bundle, and then they send me the email, and they're like, oh my God, what a relief. Like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. How can you not feel great about that? So when I started, I didn't know that the transformation would be so quick, but that just was a vision. But to see it become reality is a very amazing feeling. And I pray that I continue to have this honor of helping people.
Yeah, I love that. I'm glad that you do love the questions, because it's all about living life on purpose, in your purpose, right? And this is your purpose. And it means a lot to me to know, especially who I'm connected with, like what drives you. But I also do it very intentionally for our listeners, for those that are even desiring to start something. The fact that these are the results that happen when you create impact, when you're really in tune with what you want to do and how you want to serve and how you want to show up, and having that type of customer service. Like when we're looking at the vision, we're looking at, okay, this is my expertise. This is what I'm turning it into. This is what I'm going to deliver. And this is the impact that I want. but there's so many nuances in between that sometimes we're chasing the money, we're chasing the clients, we're chasing the number. But when you slow down to really build something, whether it's coaching, whether it's, brick and mortar products, all those things, it's very important for me, for our audience to understand that we have to choose that mindset, right? We have to build that culture. And I love what you're doing, but you also have a YouTube channel. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so on my YouTube channel, I talk about legal stuff. I also share my personal stuff. So it's not just limited to the legal stuff. If I'm traveling, I'll post a video, a fun video or something. But yes, there's a lot of honestly educational, helpful, free content on there talking about all different kinds of legal issues that you can avoid. So definitely check it out. It's A Self Guru. That's my name everywhere. For consistency purposes of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. So yeah, if you're looking for fun stuff, legal educational stuff, I definitely recommend subscribing.
Absolutely. And we will be dropping that in the show notes as well. So click on it, click the bell as well for notifications, because I know that as entrepreneurs, this is life-changing information that we need. And that we're looking to really draw people in to take it seriously, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Truly, we can start a business. Do we want to start it right is the question. And having the opportunity with this amazing woman here, I am so glad you reached out and you tapped in and we connected, and I was able to get your journey out here, and it was just phenomenal. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all, honestly, for having me. And if you would like to work with me, or whether it's one-on-one or get my templates, you simply go to aselfguru.com. There's a work with me page where you can set up a consultation with me, so you get personalized help, legal help. And trust me, I'm very affordable as compared to, so don't feel like, it's going to be a huge investment. And then if you just need done for you type of legal templates, which you can just plug in easily and be done in 15 to 30 minutes in your business, then we have that option in our legal shop as well on my website. So those are some of the best ways to get in touch with me. Just simply go to the website, or social media is always there too, like Instagram, YouTube, and so forth.
Absolutely. So you heard it, aselfguru.com. I say check out all the pages, get to know Amira, what she's done, testimonials, all that great stuff. It has been truly a pleasure to interview you and again get to know you and introduce you to our world here at Bomb Global podcast. And what do you want to leave our audience with today?
Great question. I would say that legal is the glue that holds your business together. I know this from firsthand experience, watching my own dad lose everything in a matter of just few minutes. And so I would say that if your foundation is strong, your business is going to prosper. It's going to grow. So it's just like when we build a house, right? We want to make sure that our house is strong, so that if there is a hurricane or there's anything that will come, it won't just destroy it. It's the same concept. You're building your business from ground zero. Like you're putting your blood, sweat, and tears. You give it that legal foundation, so that way you could have peace of mind and really focus on the fun aspect, which is your zone of genius, which is your expertise and what you want to build and what you want to create.
Yes. So we thank you so much again. And we are excited because I believe we'll be having Amira as one of our guest speakers at our online business mindset mania that's happening December 13th. So stay connected, subscribe to this channel, hit that bell, comment, share this with those that you love and your partners and all that good stuff. It has been a great time, as always. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nicky C. And as I always say, make it count. Bye, everyone.
Bye.